along the road, just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gathering along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races. We went to bleeding races.
Oh, it's back through Bartes!
1962 on a summer's afternoon, we took the bus from Bambras and she was heavy laden. Where we went along Collinwood Street, that's on the road to Bladen. Whoa, me lads, you should have seen us gunning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gunning along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races.
Yes, people, what's going on? Ron John, Sinclair TV back again, and I've got Bill from Garage Football and a West Ham fan. Good evening to you, mate.
Hi, mate. Thanks for having us on.
No problems at all. No problems at all. And it's your first time on my channel, and let's hope it's going to be a fantastic show as well. And if you guys like the video, like what you see, then hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. If you like the super chat, it's just 99p. And if you'd like to become a member, then the link is on top. Just click on that. It's just 99p. So, yeah, so we go for the comments straight away. Hi to Leslie. Hi to you. Hope you're okay. Hi to Truls as well in the cut. Hi to Leslie again. Hi to Truls. And we go on to Jules as well. You know the rules, people. Hope you all keep it friendly. And don't forget to click the like, subscribe, and share the socials. You can also join, and super chats are available too. Thank you very much for that, Jay. And what Jules said goes. And let's have a look at this one as well. Hi to Leslie again. Right, this season, right, we're going to talk about your team, all right? Taking the season so far, really. And then last season, you had a fantastic season. Got into Europa League. You're doing fantastic in it this season. And this season, it's just gone wrong. I mean, what's gone on at your football club, Bill?
Oh, mate, how long you got? We could do a whole show just on what's gone wrong this season. I think so many reasons, mate. I think a big reason I have to say is Mark Noble retiring. Not necessarily on the pitch, because last couple of seasons he's been more of a squad player, come off the bench, etc. But I just think his influence off the pitch, you know, he's a club captain in the dressing room. I think that's been a huge factor in our sort of stuttering season, to put it kindly. I think Declan Rice, you know, has suffered with that. His form hasn't been as good as it has been, albeit he's still been one of our better players. You know, he hasn't hit the heights of last few seasons. You know, I think David Moyes deserves a huge amount of stick. You know, I've given him, I've been patient with him as much as I can this season, but you know, there came a point, especially before the World Cup and even just afterwards, where we were playing the same tactics every game, so predictable, and expecting things to change, and we were just playing rubbish. This calendar year, we've improved a little bit, especially at home, but, you know, still not, you know, we should be getting more out of the players we've got and the squad. You know, it's ridiculous. We're in a relegation battle in April, and we had to beat Southampton. I mean, us and Southampton, you know, it's chalk and cheese. The players we've got at our disposal on theirs. And we shouldn't have any 6-pointers in April. It's ridiculous. And to score only 25 goals in 27 league games is an embarrassment with, as I say, the players we've got. And, you know, I think Moyes' tactics and negative tactics and holding on for leads at 1-0 and sitting too deep is a part of that. And I think injuries haven't really helped as well. You know, Neef Aguerd and Kurt Zouma are by far two best defenders. And on Sunday against Southampton, was only the third Prem game they've played together. And we've had injuries to, you know, Gianluca Scamacca and numerous other players as well. And I think Moyes' loyalty towards certain players hasn't helped as well. You know, Aaron Cresswell's form's really fallen off, as is Thomas Souček. He's stuck with them for far too long, and they should have been taken out the side far earlier. And I think, funny, I'd say our away form as well has been a huge factor. We've won one away game, and that was at Aston Villa in, I think, August, I think it was. And you compare it to last season, where I think we won 7 games away from home. Previous season, albeit it was a lockdown season, was 9 games away from home we won. And to win only 1 is, you know, and the joint worst along with Nottingham Forest is pathetic, really. So you add all those factors together, it's contributed to a very poor season so far. Apart from the Conference League, where it's been brilliant. Talk about can we play them every week, but like in terms of the bread and butter in the Premier League, it's been really, really poor. But still got a few games to go. Hopefully, we can get ourselves out of trouble. But we should be nowhere near. As Jamie Redknapp rightly said on Sunday, West Ham should be nowhere near this position.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree, because you look at the West Ham team, they've got some cracking players there, do you know what I mean? Like you said, got Declan Rice, he's out of contract in the next season. I like Antonio, I like him. You've got Bowen, you got...
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lucas Paqueta, yeah, exactly.
As well. I mean, he's going to be on to Newcastle. That's the fans' choice, not the owner's choice. That's the reason why he hasn't come to Newcastle. I know he's mates to Bruno, best mates, but at the end of the day, I think Paqueta is a good player. I really do think he's a really good player. I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, he started off slowly, but he will get better. What do you think of Lucas Paqueta? I mean, do you think he's
but a bit of a slow start, and he picked up an injury. And I think the thing with Lucas Paqueta, I mean, he's way above the levels of the rest of our squad. They can't especially the first few games. He's putting a great pass in, and everyone's like standing still because they're not anticipating it. So he's I think they're starting to get on the same wavelength now. A lot of players, I think it's probably his best game was on Sunday. I think he's really starting to improve. But the thing with, again, to go back to David Moyes, he played Paqueta as a 10 to start with. Well, with Brazil, as we saw in the World Cup, he played as more of a deep line number 8 playmaker and dictate play from there, and he's played a lot better since then. So, but Moyes and the staff and the scouting department should have known about that before they signed him. So it's no coincidence since he's moved into a deeper role, we've played a lot better. So I think there's still more to come with Paqueta from an attacking sense. He put in 10 tackles on Sunday, which is unreal, really, for a Brazilian international. And I think the more he's playing, the more players on his wavelength, which is obviously a bonus.
When I watched Paqueta for AC Milan, he was number 10. He never used to do this at all at AC Milan. But for him putting those such of tackles, I think this guy shot us. He really has shot us. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's trying to be an all-round midfielder, but he's still a quality player in my eyes. But yeah, we'll see what happens on tomorrow night. I think it could make a difference for our team. Evening to Alan. Hi to you, mate. Moyes, you touched on Moyes next for the sack. I heard rumours as well, and I could be wrong on this. If we beat you tomorrow, it could be on its way. Because what they tend to do, they sack Pellegrini on the day as well. When he got sacked, when they got a year ago, they sacked him on the spot. And let's be real. I mean, look, end of the day, I don't know. First of all, on David Gore, my condolences to David Gore. There's a big loss into the game. And what can I say? I mean, it's going to be a tough game. I mean, David Moyes, will he last the season, do you think? Or do you think they're going to give him more time to give him credit in the bank?
Yeah, well, I think David Sullivan has nailed his mask now. He's going to stick with David Moyes to the end of the season. And if he was going to make a change, he's had a load of opportunities to do it. I think he should have done it before the World Cup, personally, or if not before the January window, and then even just this international break. So I think he's nailed his colours to the mast now. He's going to stick with Moyes to the end of the season. So, and I'm okay with that now because I think the options aren't, there are better managers out there, but probably more for the summer. Graham Potter, Brendan Rodgers being two of them. Pochettino's a bit of a pipe dream, but the first two I said are more realistic. I think they're going to stick with Moyes to the end of the season now. So in terms of the must-win games, the ones we've had to, we had to beat Everton, we did that. Had to beat Forest, had to beat Southampton. So the games we've had to win, we've done it, but that's not sustainable. When you're 1 game or 2 games away from the sack, clearly it's going to have an effect on the fan base and the players out on the pitch.
Yeah, good answer. That. I mean, you've got to stick with Moyes to the end of the season anyway, see what happens after that. Because at a minute, that won't win, and you're 14th in the league. Questions from Jules. Do you believe Moyes manager? Yeah, I think you answered that question there.
Yeah, I think to just answer that fully, I'd stick with him now to the end of the season, but then I would, regardless of what happens, I would make a change. I think it's time now. We've seen it with Leicester with Brendan Rodgers. You don't get 7, 8, 9 seasons unless you're Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp. There does reach a stage in managers' careers where it gets a bit stale, and we need something different. We need a fresh voice. We need a more attacking, possession-based manager. Moyes is trying to play counter-attacking football with a possession-based team, and that's why we've struggled. That's why we're not scoring the goals, because it's too, he's trying to change things too quickly, in my opinion. So, I think I'd make a move for, I'd say, Graham Potter would be my shout. He's not become a band manager overnight. He did wonders at Brighton, obviously, even before that, Swansea and Östersunds in Sweden. He's the type of football would be more what I and other West Ham fans would want. So I'd want some like Graham Potter in the summer. But I would persevere with Moyes, give him the chance to keep us up and win the Conference League. And thanks for your time. You've done a great job, but it's time for something different.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, sort of thing, are you going to win the Upper League? That's another thing. But I hope you do. I really hope you do. But I
hope we do as well. We got a great chance though with the teams that have been knocked out and our form in. It's a shame we haven't taken our Conference League form into the Premier League, because we'd be right up the table. We've won every game, even the qualifiers. So I think we've got a good chance of winning that competition. But obviously, the priority is the Premier League safety. Yeah.
Correct. Just someone there, sort of thing. Sorry about that. I think you covered this question as well. You'd rather have Graham Potter if he's available. Yeah. And to Bill, do you think Paquetá will leave at the end of the season?
Good question. I genuinely believe it depends if David Moyes is still in charge next season. I think a few players could potentially leave. Gianluca Scamacca being one of them. I don't think he's very happy with Moyes' treatment. I wouldn't be if I was him. But no, I think Paquetá might. I think he'll stay. But then again, if we get a good offer for him, we don't know. So I think, and it depends on if we bring in a new manager that suits more the players we've got and the style of play. I think players would be more inclined to stay.
Yeah. Scamacca, I rate that guy. He's very fast solo, but I think he'd be back in Italy next season. Unfortunately, it just has to work out for him, unfortunately. But in my opinion. So thanks for that question, Alan. Big up to Ian. I hope you're okay. I hope your son's fine too. Top guy. Even to Paul as well. And Jules, having the sunshine going. Cool. And see some more comments. Hi, Steph. Best day. Hopefully, the West Ham who played Southampton are as even before they won. West Ham was poor at game. I watched that West Ham game, Southampton, and I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think it was that great, but you got the job done. You got the job done. Southampton were a better team, and they hit the post. I mean, you had to make a good save. Fabianski had to get a good save. But 3 points, that's all you need. You don't have to win pretty. You just have to get the result, really.
No, honestly, at this time of the season, if you're down the bottom, a shithouse 1-0 is what you need. I think, we did have other chances. Bowen hit the crossbar in the first half. But, yeah, it wasn't pretty. If you're watching it on Sky for the neutrals, I bet it was an absolute shitter of a game. And it was the same when we were in the stadium. So, no, it wasn't a great watch. It was the 3 points that mattered. But hopefully... Having got that win, the pressure's off slightly for tomorrow night, because we're not expected to beat Newcastle. I'm obviously going to touch on it. Newcastle Champions League. The pressure's been on us against, as I say, Everton, Forest, Southampton, the teams around us. The pressure's not really on us tomorrow night. If we could get a point, I would take that hands down. And hopefully the pressure of getting those 3 points, being out of the drop zone, will... Hopefully it will take the shackles off the players and it will help them relax and play a better game. We're going to have to play a lot better. If we play like we did against Southampton, Newcastle are going to absolutely destroy us. So we need our performance of the season if we're going to get anything against Newcastle. So hopefully the players can do it.
Absolutely. Let's see some more comments there. Please keep them coming in, please. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and also do follow. I'm having problems with this thing. I do follow Bill as well on Garage Football. Looking forward to the match tomorrow. There's a load of Toon fans down here. That's when Ian having a good time in Tenerife. Hope we had a good time. And Les said, must have heard you there. Hope Willock is okay. He's immense. I hope he's fit for tomorrow. I don't know the latest on Joe because he went off pulling a hamstring. So I hope he's fit. And if that's the case, That'd be fantastic. It's been good season. How do majority of West Ham fans view Newcastle season so far? That's a question from Jules.
Yeah, great question. I think, unbelievable season they've had. And to lose only 3 Premier League games, one of them was against when they were down to 10 men against Liverpool the other week. It's just absolutely amazing. Eddie Howe's done an incredible job. I wanted him at West Ham when we sacked Manuel Pellegrini the other season, and just been amazing. And there's obviously a lot of talk of the ownership and the money spent, but at the end of the day, the coaching performance of Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall and the staff to get the best out of players that are already at the club, Joe Linton, Almiron, Sean Longstaff, even squad players like Jacob Murphy. Do you know what I mean? Fabian Scher was already there. Do you know what I mean? Joe Willock, you mentioned earlier. So, but buying the right players as well. When Man City had all the money, they bought like Robinho and Emmanuel Adebayor, Roque Santa Cruz, Craig Bellamy, and it took them years. I think when Roberto Mancini was in charge to get Champions League qualification, Newcastle might do that already. So, and the players that bought us, Bruno Guimaraes, like last season, and Kieran Trippier have all held, Nick Pope in the summer. Yeah, it's been incredible. And I hope Newcastle finish in the Champions League. I've had a bit of a soft spot for Newcastle, going back to sort of Bobby Robson with Shearer and Nobby Solano, Gary Speed resting, but God rest his soul. And I think they deserve it with the way they've played this season, and obviously great getting to a cup final. Shame they didn't get over the line there, but yeah, it's just the start of things to come. I expect them to challenge for the European spots, maybe finish 7th, like West Ham did last season, or 8th, maybe just miss out on the Conference League. But to be 3rd with like 10, 11 games to go is amazing. So, and it's the start of Newcastle's journey. So fair play to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So touch wood, just keep going to the end of the season. Let's get that top 4 as well, because I truly believe we can do. We only lost 3 games this season. Well, by 2 teams, Liverpool, Man City. But the go for some comments as well. Big up to Tony B. I've got to call him Tony B. And going to the hard game. Anthony, if you hit the subscribe button, please, mate, that'd be fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. And Newcastle to win by 3-0. Stephen's getting his thoughts early. And any question, Bill, drop in the comments page. Thank you very much indeed for that one. And I've noticed all the pundits are now praising Isak. You know what it is? Alex Isak, you watched him. What do you think of this guy? Swedish international.
Well, he's the real deal, mate. I mean, it's no surprise he's been linked with Premier League clubs for a few seasons. And it's actually even more amazing how Newcastle have done this season. And he's barely played. Like, how many games have he played? 10 games? 15 games. Like, he's been injured in and out the side of injury, and he's a real sort of complete modern day centre forward. Though he's quick, he's tenacious, he presses brilliantly from the front. He's got that passion which obviously the Geordies will like. I mean, him sent in like in the away game recently against Forest, he's giving it to the travelling Geordies, and and obviously he's a good finisher as well. He's got he's everything you could want in a modern day centre forward, and I think he's the player I'm most scared about by far ahead of the game tomorrow. And even Callum Wilson, he's got a great record against West Ham as he did in the fixture in February, whenever it was. So I think Isak's he's the real deal. He's a sensational player, and I think even though he cost 60 million, was it something like that?
63 million quid. 63.
I mean, in maybe a season or two's time, that's going to be like a right bargain with the prices of strikers nowadays. So no, he's incredible.
Yeah, what a player. I've always said back in August, if you're going to get a striker in, go and get Alex Isak. Go and get that guy. You know what I mean? Just go to Real Sociedad, offer them money, right? And then just go for it. Because I heard also wanted him a couple of years ago. And believe you and me, this guy's going to be the real deal, like you said. I think this guy's going to be world-class in the time of Cup. And why do you think West Ham have suffered due to Europe? That's what
I don't think it's to do with Europe, and we proved that last season with getting to the semi-finals of the Europa League and ultimately finished 7th in the Premier League. So I don't think it's to do with the Thursday-Sunday routine, because we used to that last season. So I just think, and obviously you have to take into account the standard of the Conference Leagues, particularly in the group stages, is really, really poor. It gets better as the knockout stages go on, but I mean we basically played Championship sides, not even League One sides, I would argue, in some of them. So You know, and as we've seen in this season in the Premier League, the difference between Southampton and say up to, you know, I don't know who's like mid-table Chelsea or whatever. Like there's a gap. There's a gap between obviously you've got Man City and Arsenal, and then there's a gap, and then for the rest of the teams, everyone can beat each other. So, you know, we just haven't really taken that. I don't think Europe's been a factor in there, but it's just we just haven't been good enough in a lot of the games. When there's been a handful of games where we've played really well, like really out of our skins. The games we have won, Southampton and you know, Everton, and I think like October we beat like Bournemouth, Wolves, and Fulham in quick succession at home, but we haven't been convincing in a lot of games, and that's been the main factor rather than amongst the other answers I gave in the first question in terms of why we've suffered this season. I don't think Europe has really played a part, to be honest.
Absolutely. There you go. At least you know your excuses. You just get on with it and get on game by game.
Yeah. And we've got big. I'm sorry, mate, but we've got a big enough squad to cope with it now. It's not like it's not like Burnley or teams like that have qualified for Europe and don't have, or Stoke even. We're going back a few years where they don't have the squad depth. We now have that, and he's rotated, but we just haven't been good enough in the Premier League, and that's it.
Exactly. Oh, you spent a lot of money, 180 million quid. That excuse me, Odegaard as well. That guy he came from Rennes. That guy is an absolute brilliant defender. Him 30 odd million, 5 million quid you pay for that guy. Yeah. He reads the game like a book. This guy is a big lad. That tackle on Callum Wilson in the second half in our earlier game.
Yeah. Match saving. Yeah, that was a point saving tackle, and that gives me a bit of hope against if Aguero was injured. You know, it's going to be hard with Aguero even in the side against Isak. But if we didn't have, because we haven't got the quickest back line, really. No. Even Zuma's got a bit of pace, but Isak will leave him for dead. At least him and Aguero, that's a real matchup. If you can keep up with Kylian Mbappe, which Aguero did for Rennes, those clips which I'm sure all of us saw on YouTube or whatever, you can, you are rapid, and he is, and he's made such a difference in our side defensively, but also with his distribution with the ball. We've got someone who can actually ping the ball from the back to, say, Bowen, who's on the right wing or whatever. And that's made a huge difference to our side. So, yeah, I think it's obviously going to be hard against Isak and the other quick players you guys have got with Aguero in the side. But, yeah, if we had to say Ogbonna, good defender as he is, his legs are gone, and Cresswell, his legs are gone. So, but at least Aguero is fit and starting to show his good form.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, let's hope that we wish you all the best after tomorrow, though. But I do like him. I like that guy. Got one from JJ. Great to have a knowledgeable guest on the show. Not all about his own team, but for Newcastle's too. JJ,
appreciate
that's a star comment there. That's a star comment. Always good to see you, Gary. And Efron is flying through the comments as well. West Ham used to be a tough place to play at their old ground, Upton Park. I want to talk about that. Do you miss Upton Park, or would you rather stay at the London Stadium? For me, if you went to Upton Park, the atmosphere is fantastic.
Yeah. Honestly, if you ask the majority of West Ham fans, I'd say 99% would say Upton Park, 100%. Obviously the closer to the pitch, the atmosphere. London Stadium as a stadium is actually okay. Like I imagine the Olympics, I bet it's amazing. And seeing concerts, they have baseball and all that. I bet as a stadium, it's decent. Close to Stratford. Plenty of stations nearby. Facilities are decent. But as a football stadium, which obviously as West Ham play there, it is not suitable for football. We knew that before we moved there, and it's been proven since then. There's only so much you can do because it wasn't like the Commonwealth Man City they had stadium, which was the City of Manchester Stadium. That was built for the Commonwealth Games in 2002, and it was built in place, the planning, for it to be for football use afterwards. That never happened with us. Sebastian Coe wanted the athletics, to be the main use of the stadium. That was never going to happen, and that's why the football, the architecture, wasn't taken into consideration. There has been slight improvements to the stadium, like the horrible green carpet has now got the West Ham claret on it, and they've put the side, put the behind the goals a little bit closer, but just for the scaffolding, and the views. It depends where I'm all right where I sit. So I sit behind the goal. I've got a reasonable view. But if you're a Newcastle fan high up, or if you're in the main stand where the media are, I'm sure you guys have seen it on the socials. It's awful. I'm sure the stewards give binoculars to fans who are going in. It's ridiculous. So yeah, obviously as a stadium, as a football stadium, no, it's rubbish really. But as proven last season, we finished 7th and we beat some big sides, Liverpool and Chelsea. So but this season it hasn't gone well. But I think it's more the performances. I don't think the stadium will always be a problem, but especially when we're losing and playing badly. But obviously it's not a patch on Upton Park. I'd say that much.
I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I'd rather take Upton Park all day long. London Stadium is just too far to go, and also the transport's not great. And now you've got to walk to the stadium as well. I've never done it, but I heard about it. Fulham, that bit rough, another 7 game could be very significant. He's got an 8-game ban today. That's no surprise whatsoever. What he
deserved. Disgraceful that was.
So you can't do that. You can't do that, and he knows that. The guy's 29, and he just don't do that. So while West Ham's struggling this year, I think we cover that. It's just hasn't been good enough, Anthony, in my opinion. And Ian or Hope UK, Alan, the same level should get a 3 points. I think West Ham have suffered in Europe Thursday, Sunday games this season. I mean, it's tough. It must be tough on West Ham to play a Thursday, Sunday. You know what I mean? It must be tough for them.
Yeah, I can certainly see that, but I think if we had a smaller squad, which we sort of did last couple of seasons, but now we're not just relying on Antonio. We've got 3 strikers now with Ings and Skamaka, and we've got depth in most areas of the pitch now. So, but it's just the we had a poor start before we played the European games. We got off to a really poor start, and when we've had had league games back to back for quite some time, we haven't got enough points. We haven't accumulated when we should do, and now we're going back to playing Europe again this Thursday. Next Thursday, our first leg away again. We should have had more points by now, so the Thursday, Sunday Conference League, Premier League should really be taken into account because we should have more points by now. So it could be. I don't see it being. Hopefully, it's not an issue. David Moyes has said he might have to prioritise the Premier League, which would be a shame. But at the end of the week, we have to stay up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's your bread and butter. You've got to stay in the Premier League this season. If you don't, the cost of money is going to cost you in the London Stadium. It's going to be absolutely a lot of money. That's going to be a disaster. Has Moyes become a dinosaur manager? That's from Jules.
Great question. I'd say so. I think he's playing tactics that worked well. A couple of seasons ago. Last season, the season before, but he had a similar problem when he was at Man United. Like he's more of an underdog. Counter-attack, rely on set pieces. It's hard to sustain that for a few years. You've got to evolve, and if he has tried to do that with getting the likes of Lucas Paqueta in and Gianluca Scamacca, but he doesn't play that style of football that suits them. So, which I think it catches up with certain managers. Sam Allardyce, those type of managers. Antonio Conte, Jose Mourinho. Like there comes a point where if you don't evolve, and why do you think Diego Simeone's never managed in the Premier League? His style of football's awful. So, but I think, I think Moyes, unfortunately, is he's done a great job at West Ham. But I think unfortunately, just hit that ceiling. He hasn't really, and it's even at Everton, like when he had the more creative players, couldn't really break that ceiling and get in the top 4 regularly. So, I think unfortunately he's run his course really.
Yep. Fair enough. What does the future hold for Declan Rice and Tony B?
Yeah, I think most West Ham fans have resigned to him leaving in the summer. I think Arsenal have been the one he's been really linked with. So, I'm a huge fan of Declan. He's been brilliant for West Ham, and he deserves to play for a club that's in the Champions League. Obviously he's established England international, and he's given everything for us. Been happening a year a couple of times, and he's been a real part of it, especially the last couple of seasons. Been a real big part of it. So I think we was resigned to him leaving. But I think the more pertinent sort of issues really is: are we going to get a good fee for him, which is debatable with David Sullivan in charge, and also how are we going to replace him? Are we going to buy a top quality replacement? Are we going to buy a couple of players? of good quality, or are we going to waste the money like Tottenham did when they sold Gareth Bale and bought all those rubbish players apart from Christian Eriksen? That's the problem I think me and other West Ham fans have. We're like, what's going to happen when he leaves, rather than is he going to leave? I think he is going to leave, and I say he deserves to. And I think we will wish him all the best for the rest of his career. He deserves it. So but I think he'll. Who's he going to join? I think maybe Arsenal, possibly Man United. As long as he doesn't join Tottenham, I think we'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I don't think he's joined Tottenham. Tottenham mess is a circus of a club. We're going to be above Tottenham next season and the season after Harry Kane's going to leave as well at the end of the season. Let's be real. If I just come, so we're going to talk about our team as well. You know what? I saw a post on Facebook from a fan as in James's Park saying how much the view from the away end looking all around the city. I tell you what. If I was still 11-7, I've been there before. Oh, man, it's too high for us, too high. How would Everton's FFP look when they have bought players and build a stadium, which all goes to FFP from what I understand? I think Everton's a spot of bother. I hope for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Go on.
I'm sorry. I think, but that obviously, they're a bad example of the money being wasted. You know, look at how well Newcastle spent the money already. And Mashiri and the board there have spent 700 million, and look at the team they've got. It's an embarrassment. Everton Football Club should be nowhere near. They've never been relegated from the Premier League. Haven't been relegated since the 50s, I think. They should be nowhere near relegation. They should be in the top 10 consistently. Look at the success they had in the 70s and the 80s, winning league titles. The club of that size and that fan base, they deserve so much better. And Mashiri has been a huge failure.
I'm going to have to agree. I'm going to have to spend $500 million they spent, and they still got Seamus Coleman right back. And then
and no strikers. Exactly. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. And the most important thing is that Calvert-Lewin's been linked with us as well in the past. No, thank you. No disrespect, but no thank you.
I can't get him on the pitch.
Nah. I think he spends too much time in the fashion wear. He's over for Ace Milan to come and film. Do you know what I mean? If you do the fashion over there. He's got to learn Italian though, but there you go. Who would you see replacing David Moyes? And Bill said Graham Potter, maybe Pochettino. I doubt it'd be Pochettino.
Something like I'd take Potter or Brendan Rodgers in a heartbeat. what Steve Bruce or his son Alex?
Bruce.
God almighty.
So just to say, you would not take Steve Bruce.
No, definitely not. No. If West Ham are in the Championship, maybe, because he's had a good success of getting promotions, but his days as a Premier League manager far gone.
Far gone. Fair enough. I'm just chatting to Bill. A wise man once said, "It's all about the accumulation of points."
No,
absolutely.
Is,
Jim's been sporting too. No, Jim Bruce. Big up to Gareth. Gareth, the show started 10-7, my guy. And now it's 7:25. I have you down for a disciplinary, mate. Gareth, great to see you, man. Great to see you, mate. Hope you're okay in Cardiff. And almost you got man to Gareth and hi to Les. Roy Hodgson should be a type, but I can't believe he beat Brendan Rodgers. Definitely a second on the fence. That's an I like coffee.
Do you see the amount of shots that Palace had? Like 30 shots on goal. They've barely scored this calendar year. No wonder Rodgers got sacked after that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Here's another one should be on the short list as well for West Ham. He might do a job for you. You never know. And after I take over, many thought we would do what Chelsea did and spend 600 million. Don't need to spend that sort of money anyway. Unbelievable. Only 5 points between bottom and 13 at this time of the season. What do you think of the bottom of the table so far? I just think it's so exciting. Obviously not for you, but
no, that's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. As I say, the standard is, is getting better every season, and it shows that anyone can beat anyone. Like I say, Southampton, they beat Chelsea the other way, didn't they? So anything can happen in this in the Premier League as a whole, but certainly this season anyway. It's been mega.
Yeah. Cool. We fly through this before we do a combined 11. Really good podcast with Real Fun and Jake Murphy talking about teams, mentality, and prep and stuff. Really recommend. he's got a good podcast. We will further
Yeah,
down.
yeah. So I'll tell you what, for then Newcastle fans, if you haven't watched Jake Humphrey's High Performance podcast, he did one with Eddie Howe a few months ago. That's a really, really good watch, really insightful. So I really recommend you watch it if you haven't already.
Brilliant stuff. That'd be worth watching as well. I might go watch that myself as well.
Yeah,
Steve Bruce is a brilliant stuff. Thank you for letting us know on that one. Steve Bruce is a legend at Man United, not for Newcastle. Do you see Murphy and Sean doing their five-a-side teams? Murphy had opponent smile rivaling me. I tell you what, I didn't see it, Leslie, but it seemed really cool. And Declan Rice was the best player against the two. He was indeed. No question about that. Big up to Brian as well, by the way. Going to do a bit of a combined 11, all right? It's going to be your team. It's like West Ham versus Newcastle. You got to choose the best side combined, right? For example, I mean, like, I was going to choose Declan Rice. I was going to choose maybes again as well. So we go for the combined 11, right? This is going to be your team. So if I just get the list up for you, I'm going to share the stream and just have a look at that one as well. I think Jules watched it herself as well, I truly believe. Great formation. And we're going to fly through this as well. So, Bill, who would you choose to play in goal?
Nick Pope. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Lucas Fabianski, but Nick Pope, especially this season, is the amount of clean sheets he's kept, and I think I'm going to probably pick Newcastle's back four because they've been fantastic this season. So yeah, Nick Pope in goal for me.
Nick Pope, I just tap that one in. There's Nick Pope in goal. 13 clean sheets a season. Excuse me. There's only witnesses his first touch as comes to pass, but other than that, he's had a cracking season. Let's go to the back four. We start on the right back side.
Yeah, it's an easy one. Kieran Trippier. Right back's been a problem position for West Ham all season, and Trippier's been fantastic. It's been great since he joined. It's been great since he joined defensively, but also with his free kicks and crossing. So that's an easy one for me.
So Kieran Trippier as your right back, and on the other side, left back.
I'd probably go with Dan Burn actually. I think Aaron Cresswell had a bit of a shocking start to the season, and Emerson, since he's come in, has actually played pretty well. When he was at Chelsea, I thought he was more of a left wing back, a left midfielder, a suspect defensively. But since he's played in the back four, I think he's really, really improved. So he's been one of our better players recently. But even so, Dan Burn has been fantastic all season, hasn't he?
He's finally mastered how to defend against Anthony for Man United because he clearly struggled at the third attempt, by the way. But big up to Dan Burn, by the way. You're on your right side of centre back or any centre backs.
On the right, I'll probably put Sven Botman in. He's been a revelation. Obviously, cost big money from Ligue 1, but yeah, he's been amazing all season, really, from what I've seen of him.
Cool. And he's been excellent this season. Another great performance on Sunday. He's been excellent. Okay, made a mistake against Nottingham Forest, but he will get marked down for it. But and on the other side, he's be his defensive partner.
Yeah, this is a tough one because Cher, his partner, has done really well. I think Kurt Zouma, when he's on form, he's one of the best defenders in the league, but he's had an injury hit season. Mm-hmm. But when he's made such a difference, is the player you've highlighted is Aguerd. So I'm going to put him as the left centre back.
Aguerd. Yeah. 26 years old Moroccan international. What a defender he is. He really, really is. Let's go on to the CDM.
Declan Rice. For me, he's one of the best in the division in that position. As I say, he's not hit the heights of previous seasons, but as I say, he's still one of our best players. And England international. He goes straight in there for me.
Fantastic. And what about the two other midfielders? Go on the left-hand side.
I'm going to put Bruno in. Bruno Guimaraes. He's got to be in the side, isn't he? So he's been incredible since he joined Newcastle, and whenever he's out the side, Newcastle aren't really the same team, are they? So no, he's all action midfielder, defensively very good, attacking, runs from deep, just got real star quality about him. So, and I think he can get even better, which is frightening, really.
He is absolutely right. He's been absolutely fantastic this season. I mean, I heard of the name, and I've seen a bit play for Leon, but came to Newcastle, he transformed the team. He could be the best midfielder ever I have seen in a black and white shirt. I'll look at players like Rob Lee. I'll look at David Batty, Gary Speed. Yeah, all those kind of players. Lee Clark. This guy tops a lot for me for the club. Let's go on to the other midfielder.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a real tough one. I think in terms of general ability, I would put Lucas Paqueta in. However, I think in terms of the whole season, someone who's really underrated, a proper Geordie, he's really improved under Eddie Howe, is Sean Longstaff. I think he's had a really good season and goes under the radar.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I mean, look, at the end of the day, under Steve Bruce has gone backwards, sort of, and that's not his fault. We weren't being coached properly. But Eddie Howe came in. That guy has been transformed game after game after game. And you know what? His shredded shoots and it goes on target. They're amazing. But he had a cracking shot which passed the post on Sunday in the first half. It's just going to get better. And that place is his now because he's going to be in the first team. And he's been absolutely fantastic, Sean Lonside. Really has. So let's go on to the left-hand side of the three.
Oh, yeah. What are the options? I mean, St. Maximin, would it be?
You got St. Maximin, you got, what's his name? Your player,
Ben Rama. Yeah.
Ben Rama, that's the one, Ben Rama. You got the Spanish lad you got as well. I should know these names, man.
What, four nails?
Nails, that's the one.
Yeah. Tough. I think I'm going to put Ben Rama in because for me he's been our best player this season. I would say over the whole season. So I'll put Ben Rama in on the left hand side.
It's your team. And bless you. And on the right hand side.
Yeah. Tough one. This. Again, normally I would put in. He's improved last few games, but again, like a lot of players, he hasn't hit the heights of last couple of seasons. Jared Bowen, but I think with again one of the players I mentioned earlier, the improvement he's made under Eddie Howe's style, he can play him out wide or he can play him in the middle. I'm going to put Almiron. Yeah, I'm going to put Almiron.
Miguel Almiron, great. If I could just get there. Sorry about this. Hey.
Can't believe how many goals he scored, Almiron. It's just frightening.
Oh no, if I just get this guy. There he is. Oh, for that. Eventually found him. He's up there quite a few times, yeah. So that's going Miggy on the right-hand side and us up front after there can only be one.
That's Mikel Antonio. No, it's Isaac. Yeah. No, easiest one to pick in this team is Isaac. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the reasons we've discussed earlier.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that and then I would have said I told her, I said, what the hell are there? But, as a backup striker, I like Antonio, by the way. I do like him.
I do as well. But yeah, like a lot of our players, he's reached his peak now, and he's over the hill as a lot of our players, unfortunately. So, but yeah, Isaac, what players we've bigged up all episode.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know what it is like, I mean, he's an honest player sort of thing. Yes, he's 30-31, and I think, you know what, I mean, he loves West Ham, but what's the future holds for the lad? I just do not know. So let's go to Bills' combined 11. So it's going to be Nick Pope in goal. His right back is going to be Trippier, left back Dan Burn. The centre defenders will be Aguirre and Botman. Midfield three will be Declan Rice, Sean Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes, and up front it'll be Ben Rama, Almiron, and Alex Isak. And that is your combined 11. So are you happy with that squad there? Do you think that squad will be good enough?
Well, mate, you might as well just give us the Premier League trophy with that team.
I think so.
or at least challenge him for the title with that team. Strong defensively, good in attack, good midfield, great goalkeeper. Yeah, all bases are covered.
I agree. I think the back four defends properly. The goalkeeper gets protected well. So big up to your team there. And that's your band 11. Tell us your thoughts, people. Do you think Billy is right? Leave it in there. Agree, John. Bruno's best I've seen is a different gravy. We had Liverpool interested in Bruno. Appreciate it as a non-starter. Who is reporting that? April's Fool's couple there again. You know what I mean? God, man. Bless you, Leslie. If it's April's Fool's, Leslie, you're a couple of days too late, but you are a star. Looking forward to finally seeing the Bruno derby. No hard feelings regardless. I like Lucas Paquetá. Butcher that name, Paquetá or Paquetá. I say Paquetá. Tim Vicky says that the latter. Love Paquetá too, Brad, but I think this is Bruno more than Bruno misses him. You never know. He could be linked to Newcastle on the side. You just never know. I don't think the Oars will let anyone get Bruno just now. He's the heart of the team. Exactly. There's only one team who could get him, though. Maybe it's Real Madrid in the future. You just never know. And I don't think he'd be right up here, but we have to respect if he goes to Real Madrid as well. Well, talk about Eddie Howe. Look, 18 months ago, we were at the bottom of the table, right? 18 months ago, right? Fast forward 18 months ago, he's got his third at the minute and possible Champions League. We're in a 5-year project with our new owners. How good a job Eddie Howe has done, number one. Secondly, if he gets into the Champions League, right, I get me mates where I live saying that he should be replaced. Do you think that's a bit harsh? Or do you think you should get a bigger name?
I think. I mean, as I was saying earlier, I mean, if you asked any fan, neutral or Newcastle fan, they'd be in contention for Champions League, you wouldn't think that'd be possible. So he's done an amazing job. I think he deserves to manage Newcastle for at least another 2-3 seasons, and then see how, if he doesn't win the champion. Oh, sorry, if he doesn't win a trophy in that time, you look at someone like, obviously compare, different managers, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Man United, he was there for a couple of seasons. True. And it fell apart. I think Howe should be given the chance to win a trophy or two with Newcastle. Getting to a final Carabao Cup was a good achievement, and I think that's the start of things to come. So I think, if we get Champions League, I mean, you look at Arteta, he finished 8th twice in a row, then 5th, and now they're going for the favourites for the title. So you've got to have patience. I think the owners, the Newcastle owners, I think as I say earlier, they've done a good job, and they seem to have their head screwed on. Unlike Chelsea and Todd Bowley, they're all over the place, got a scattergun approach with players and managers and all sorts. So, whereas Eddie Howe, I think he gets the club and some of the team talks behind the scenes when he let the Sky cameras in, and just a real good manager, and getting the very best out of a team. I mean, Newcastle should really be third. They've got good players, but they're way overperforming what they should be. Comparison to Liverpool and Tottenham even, and certainly Chelsea. So he should. I think it's a bit premature for him to be even considered getting sacked. He should be nowhere near that chap. Is absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely, he's got to be here, no matter what happens. If he gets Champions League, he deserves his chance. You know what I mean? Because he's got to see what he does in Europe. He's got to be given a chance in Europe. Definitely. And you know what? We did expect us to get into Champions League in the first season of a 5-year project. Do you know what I mean? But what he has done, he has changed the culture at this football club. Let's be real. But I think he's brilliant. Says John, what's April 1st? I know, but they just couldn't get him. I mean, the thing is, right? Whatever Jude Bellingham's worth, this guy's been worth. Put an extra 30 million on top of that, and then we're talking about it. Don't forget to follow John's socials and Bill's as well. Thank you very much indeed, Jules. I want Eddie for at least 5+ year. Replace Eddie Howe is not 100% no for me, John, mate. I agree, Guy. Totally agree. He ain't going to go anywhere. Let's be real. And don't think that will happen, John. His under chance would be bonkers to get rid. I have to agree, man. I have to agree. But you get other people saying that, he might be good and big enough for the Champions League, but I don't agree with that at all. Eddie Howe's completely transformed the club. everything from fitness to having more faith in themselves. That's
spot on. Need to start that one, John. No,
yeah,
but yeah, no,
I need to start it. I think he's bang on the money. Absolutely right. And you know what it is, right? Exactly. You know what it is, right? You know, I mean, this guy, I mean, what is he, 45 years old, and he's come in, right? And he's changed every single thing. Eddie's all continued to develop himself as well as the players growing together. Absolutely, Leslie. Absolutely, that's a star com as well. So, give us name three players you would take from Newcastle United to come to West Ham. If you have three players you'd like to take from us to West Ham, who would you take?
Well, Isak, Bruno Guimaraes, and probably I don't know, one of the defenders has got to be. I'll probably go with Trippier, actually.
Yeah. I thought that's a good choice. That's a really good choice. For me, for West Ham, I would have gone for Paquetá, I would have gone Egard, and I would have gone for maybe at push. I would have probably have gone with if he started well, I would have gone Shamaka, but he's been struggling in the Premier League. For me personally, I would
not Rice, no. Wouldn't say Rice.
Yeah, Rice. Yeah, Rice. 100%.
That's the annoying thing, mate. We're saying all these good players West Ham have got, and we're fighting relegation. It's ridiculous.
I just don't get it at all. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're right. I just don't know what's wrong with West Ham. For me, we're playing too many games. You spent a lot of money, and you know, at the end of the day, right, you're not being buying these players for relegation dogfight. Real talk, you know. But let's be real. I think West Ham is still up this season. They will stay up this season because they got the know-how, but not tomorrow night.
No.
So, I mean, like, end of the day, I mean, it's going to be tough. So, like I say, you're 14th, and give us your starting 11 for tomorrow. Your starting 11 for tomorrow in the game.
I'd make a couple of changes from the weekend. So, Fabianski, depends if he's fit. I would play Soufal if he's fit, but he was on the bench. So I'll probably stick with Kera. I'll keep the same back four: Kera, Zuma, Aguerd, Emerson, Rice, and Paqueta. I would drop Souček and play probably Fornals in the middle. And then the front three, I'd have Bowen, Benrahma, and I think he played well, Antonio, against Newcastle in the reverse game. And Danny Ings isn't really a lone striker, so I think I'd play Antonio instead.
Yeah, I'll be having our team lined up 100%. Moyes, man management and tactics? Question mark.
Well, non-existent really. Look at the man management of players like Scamacca, for example. When we mentioned the tactics, it's he's got to let the handbrake off. You know, we're too defensive. But the amount of times we dropped far too deep on the edge of our goal line, and we haven't scored enough goals. I know we've created chances. You know, our XG at times must be through the roof, but you've got to put the ball back in there, and we just it's got to let the handbrake off. And I think that's why, like me and a lot of West Ham fans, want Moyes out. Well, a few months ago we wanted him out, certainly in the summer, because we need someone like Eddie Howe Graham Potter, who plays that possession-based modern day football, which would suit, which would far suit our players better. So. Fortunately, Moyes' tactics and man management have been a real factor in our struggles this season.
Yeah, absolutely good question there, and thanks for the answer on that one. I've said it before and said it again. What Eddie Howe can become the next Alex Ferguson, John? He's got to win trophies. Then he's got to win trophies, and if he does that, then it'd be a club. Well, he is a club legend. He will be a club legend, but I've got every faith in Eddie winning it, and. Like I've said, Rafa Benitez to West Ham. It did good for you. It did good for you. I think he'll do good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You got money there.
But again, it's the same with Benitez and his style of play. Again, it's that's not a recent thing. Even going back to Liverpool, like his style of football isn't the most exciting. So, I don't think we'd see we'd probably get better results under him. But in terms of the way we play, I don't think it'd be much of an improvement, I'll be honest. So, but no, obviously Benitez is a brilliant manager over most of his career. Job he did at Liverpool, and obviously you guys at Newcastle. But I'm not sure about Benitez. I think he's past his best, really.
62 years old he is, and he's definitely been linked. He's been linked to Leicester City as well, by the way. So and we'll see what happens on that one. Got one here, one more for me. It's going to be Rice, Pickett, and Bowen. That's the three you take, and we'll take West Ham. If I was West Ham, I want Potter. I think Potter would be perfect for West Ham, and
Definitely.
you need to give. You just got to give him time. Do you know what I mean? If you give him time, you know, like Chelsea didn't, then it turned your club into a great club. He's still a young manager. He's 47 years, still 40 years.
Exactly.
Still a young manager, but we'll see what happens in summer. We're going to wrap up there. I mean, look, it's been absolutely fantastic getting you on the channel.
Thanks for having us on.
Well. But before I let you go, first of all, did you enjoy coming on my channel? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been a real pleasure. Thanks for having us on. It's been great chatting to you and all the guys and girls in the comments. So I look forward to coming on again, hopefully, another time.
Definitely. I've got to get you on as well. Again, absolutely knowledgeable as well. Absolutely spot on along the way.
Yeah,
Potter, West Ham, yes, I fancy that for him. That's in Brian. And I had a coffee by to you as well, coffee, and hope you have a fantastic evening. And can you tell us where you can find on your socials, please, so people can watch you and what you got coming up as well?
Yeah, so my socials are there. That's my Twitter handle, and then there's my YouTube channel there as well. Yeah, I do a load of different content, vlogs, watch-alongs, interviews, all kind of stuff. So yeah, follow us if you want for more football views on Graham Potter and Isaac and all that kind of stuff. So
I'll be watching as well.
Just feel free to follow, ask any questions, I guess.
Champion stuff. Every time we wrap up the show, all the numbers I'll be getting is rising up and up and up. And that is the thing. I mean, like, oh, John, don't go, stay for another time. You know what I mean? You've got way to go. You know what I mean? But people still got to be more entertaining and that sort of thing. Blah, blah, blah.
Speak yourself, mate. That's all that authenticity, isn't it?
Absolutely, my guy. Absolutely. I mean, thanks for all the chat. Really enjoyed it. Thanks, and Billy. Thank you, Jules.
Thanks, mate.
I got a big Arsenal fan, Luca, as well. Big up to Luca, by the way. And love having you, Bill. Great knowledge. That's Leslie.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you both for catch up later. What I've missed, Gareth, you're welcome anytime. It'll be on playback, mate. And extra hi to Luca. Thanks everyone in the chat. Big up respect as well from Leslie. Bye to Alan. And I've got all that coffee. John is a celebrity in the Prem, and we'll have his own statue at Madame Tussauds one day. And that is some coffee. You know what?
They can't afford you, mate.
Hey! I got rid of you first. I should be there. Well, I've been to Trafalgar Square. Right? I've been to Trafalgar Square for the match.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And people thought I was a celebrity. Right? You know what I mean? I mean, people say, "Oh, you're John Sinclair TV on the YouTube." I gave about 4 autographs. I had photos taken. I went into a place in Gateshead, right? I mean, Newcastle, right? And this guy must have been 18, 19. Like, "Oh, you John on YouTube?" So got a photo of the lad. He's only 18, great guy. Do you know what I mean?
No,
and we last just loved it. Do you know what I mean? So, oh man, bless him. Great chat, John and Bill. Plus the chat. Thank you, Mr. Little. And everyone wants a picture of John. I've got one of that Longstaff, by the way, top guy as well.
Yeah,
and silence again. I thought it sounded like Britney Spears, though. Oops, I did it again. But if Britney Spears in the chat, let me know. But listen, guys, you know what to do, guys. The links in Bill's links in the description there. Please follow his channel. His YouTube's down there. If you like the channel, please hit the like, subscribe, and also comment as well. Hope to be back tomorrow. I don't know if I'm on Pete's channel tomorrow for the watch along, or I may do a warm up show tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. And I'm going to do the match review, an early one on Thursday, probably early afternoon before I got back to Newcastle. And until then, guys, I will do backstage, mate, for a couple of minutes. And then thanks so much for joining. Thanks for the chat as well. And until then, have a fantastic evening, whatever you decide to do. And it's a goodbye, and I'll be the lads.